to my colleagues. I've trained magistrates, tribunals, I've trained even the National Assembly, and I've trained globally in that area. And therefore, I believe that is a quality I can be able to escalate to the next court.
Thank you. I think the next set of questions will be followed up by Commissioner Mwanza.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Judge, one of the key attributes of judging or judgecraft is judicial courage.
Yes.
Can you tell us 4 key aspects of judicial courage, and as an experienced judicial officer for the last 31 years, 1 or 2 examples when you've applied that?
Thank you, Commissioner. I can say that one is being independent. At the root of being a judge is independence, where you are able to do your work without any directions, and you just carry that one, you just do your work independently. Then impartiality, you are able to resolve disputes or do your judgment or decision without considering other extraneous factors like nepotism and in such other issues. Another one I can say is just being efficient and effective, because you can encounter a case that is difficult and you lose courage to do it, or you get even afraid. And even being honest to yourself, just reflecting on your weaknesses and seeing whether you can seek advice from a colleague on how to go about such issues. Okay. I have been able to apply this. If commissioners, you can see the last decision I have submitted, it's a hallmark of courage. The case was in court for 30 years, and whichever judge tried to touch that file, they would find themselves before this commission. So even me, when I received that file, I tried to look at it, but I eventually gave myself, I became courageous, handled it to its logical conclusion.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Judge, you have your constitution there?
Yes.
So I have 2 questions from Article 19, sub-Article 3 of the Constitution. This is the article that begins with the Bill of Rights. It says that the rights and fundamental freedoms in the Bill of Rights, A, that is 3A, belong to each individual and are not granted by the state. Judge, what is your understanding of that?
My understanding is that these are universal human rights, so you are born with those rights. They are not given by the state.
Okay, they come with you as a human being?
Yes, by being a human being,
okay.
Universal.
Okay. Now, 3B provides that those rights, the ones state, sometimes do not exclude other rights and fundamental freedoms not in the Bill of Rights, but recognized or conferred by law, except to the extent that they are not consistent with this chapter. Do not exclude other rights and fundamental freedoms not in the Bill of Rights. What are those rights and fundamental freedoms that are not in the Bill of Rights?
Thank you, Commissioner. I would say that they include, these are the rights that are outside, including the property rights.
Property right is under 40. Article 40.
Article 40.
Yes. So which are these rights that are not in the Bill of Rights?
But they are in the Constitution.
No. If you read Article 19(3),
Yes.
it says the rights and the fundamental freedoms in the Bill of Rights A belong to each individual and are not granted by the state.
Yes.
You've answered on that. B, do not exclude other rights and fundamental freedoms not in the Bill of Rights. Not in the Bill of Rights, but recognized or conferred by law except to the extent that they are not inconsistent with this chapter. So my question is, which are these rights that are not in the Bill of Rights? They are actually rights and fundamental freedoms, but they are not contained in the Constitution. Yes. Just give one or two examples, and then yes, that's all. Those will be my questions.
The rights, they are part of the fundamental freedoms.
Yes,
but they are not in the Bill of Rights.
Yes, because the Bill of Rights is quite extensive, isn't it?
Yes, it's chapter 4.
Yes, chapter 4. Because it runs from, I think, Article 19, runs all the way, I think, to 50 something. But then the Constitution says these rights that are contained in this chapter, in chapter 4, do not exclude other rights and fundamental freedoms that are not contained herein. They are not contained.
I would say perhaps like the right not to be marginalized, the right to
I think marginalization, the rights against marginalized people is contained in the Bill of Rights.
Marginalization under section under Article 2(4).
2(4).
Yes.
You may be wondering, how does someone accept Jesus? For Christians, accepting Jesus means choosing to believe he is the Son of God who died and rose again. It begins with faith, and then prayer, talking honestly to God, admitting your need for forgiveness, and asking Jesus to lead your life. It's not about joining a religion, but about starting a personal relationship with him. Anyone from any background can call on Jesus. A simple prayer could be, Jesus, I believe in you. Forgive me and lead me. I want to follow you. Accepting him begins a new life filled with his love and peace. To further understand this decision, we recommend watching our video, The Bible in Less Than 4 Minutes. The link is in this video description. If you've made the decision to follow Jesus, we encourage you to begin reading the Bible and joining a Christian Bible-based church. We would also love to hear about your decision. Like and comment below.
Manage public land.
Yes.
And then, secondly, it's also involved in allocation of that land.
Okay. Then, still on that commission, there was a time where an advisory opinion was sought from the Supreme Court in respect to the functions of this commission. Can you recall what the specific issue in that matter was, and what did the Supreme Court say?
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. I think that was advisory number 2, and the National Land Commission wanted to take over some of the functions that are undertaken by the Ministry of Land, the Ministry of Land, including imposing the cost or the expenses on land registration and such. It wanted to take over that mandate, and the Supreme Court stated that the two entities should work in harmony, but the National Land Commission's mandate are set out in the Constitution, and the Act they should stick to those mandates.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, let me, in the interest of time, let me just hold it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Now, in law, enforcement of foreign judgment is the recognition and enforcement in one jurisdiction of judgments rendered in another jurisdiction. So what is the legal regime and the test applicable in the enforcement of foreign judgments in Kenya?
The legal regime is governed by the Enforcement of Foreign Judgments Reciprocal Act.
Any other?
I believe there's also the extradition laws, which are two. One, the extradition.
No, enforcement of judgments.
Enforcement of judgment. Commissioner, I'm only aware of that one.
What are the circumstances under which a foreign judgment may not be recognized and or enforced in Kenya?
Thank you, Commissioner. Such a foreign judgment will not be recognized if, in the first place, the tribunal or court which gave that judgment had no mandate to do that. Secondly,
of his employment contract, on the ground that the disciplinary procedure leading to his dismissal from service did not comply with the rules of natural justice. Assuming that the teacher or the applicant herein had established that his or her dismissal was unlawful, would he be entitled to orders of judicial review? And if your answer is yes or no, please give us reasons why.
Commissioner, may I request that you repeat again kindly?
A teacher has sued the TSC for unlawful termination of his employment contract on the ground that the disciplinary procedure leading to his dismissal from service did not comply with the rules of natural justice. Yes?
Yes.
Assuming that the teacher had established that his dismissal was unlawful before the court, would he or she be entitled to orders of judicial review?
Thank you, Commissioner. The fallback is Article 47 of the Constitution, which is the fair, captures the issue of fair hearing and can be a subject of those proceedings. And if it is found that the rules of natural justice were violated, then those orders of judicial review will be awarded in terms of Article 23 of the Constitution.
Recently, the Court of Appeal touched on this matter and decided that employer-employee relationships are matters of private law and not public law. And if that is true, what would be the best remedy for an employee who has been dismissed from service?
Thank you, Commissioner.
First and foremost, do you agree that matters of employer-employee relationship are private law and are not public law?
I would say that they are private law, but again, I would say that the Constitution requires everyone to embrace the rights and fundamental freedoms set out in the Constitution.
So if they are private law, would judicial review be appropriate?
I think judicial review would still be appropriate because it's one of the orders that can be given under Article 23.
Okay, let me ask it this way. The legality or otherwise of termination of contracts of employment that have no statutory underpinning are matters of private law or public law?
The legality?
The legality of contracts or termination of contracts that have no statutory underpinning.
Those are private laws.
So when we talk about employer-employee?
It is actually in the habit of private environment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice. Judge, a few questions from me. First, you've been asked about the advisory opinions, and you rightly said advisory opinion number 2.
Just like any other decisions of that court. So whatever is stated in the body of the judgment has to be implemented by the various entities.
All right, I'll take that. But I was wanting you to say they are authoritative, and hence, you know, they must be obeyed.
Yes, they have to. That's why I've said they are binding.
Okay,
yes.
Right. Now, how long have you been in the Land and Environment Court?
9 years. This is my 10th year.
Yes. So I'm sure in terms of experience in that area of the law, you're actually quite experienced. Now, the Land Control Board Act, and in particular Section 6, did make it mandatory that, or still it's mandatory that if you're seeking consent of the Land Control Board, you must do so within a period of six months in respect of a sale, lease, any transaction touching on agricultural land. Why do you think this provision was put into the statute?
Thank you, Commissioner. The statute, quite an old statute, came into force for purposes of ensuring that land is used in